We have imported a third world driven crime wave. Is the government covering up the crime data specifically relating to both illegal and legal immigrants? Nigel certainly thinks so. Let's discuss. Hello, Patriots. It's the Company Pollster here, and thank you for joining me today. If I can ask you to bear with me, I've got quite a cold today, so might be a bit croaky at certain points. And if you can press the subscribe button and like the video at the end, you know I'll be honoured. Now then, on a day when Keir Starmer launches his party's election campaign and mentioned his dad being a toolmaker, again, yawn. God help us if the automatons can't see through this globalist puppet. So we will be discussing a poll, two of them in fact, which is still running by the way, about a subject that is becoming an existential imperative for your country in terms of our national security, the safety of our citizens, our way of life, and especially as the number of illegals arriving so far this year has been the highest since records began in 2018. I mean, they've just completely lost control. And I bet Starmer won't be talking about any of that in terms of offering a solution to this problem. No, it'll be as bland as ever, boring as ever, and an unhealthy number of people look like they're still going to vote for him. Give me strength. And Rwanda, that's going to be a deterrent then, is it? Don't make me laugh. None of the political classes want to talk about or face up to this subject, not really. And their greatest fear would be for you, patriots, to uncover what the real statistics look like, where the crime figures are concerned relating to migrants and the illegals in particular. When it comes to this subject, we can always at least rely on Nigel Farage. And while many on the woke left want to label him as, shall we say, a faux right winger and a xenophobe, all I can say is thank God we have someone who's not letting up and is holding the feet of the hapless Home Office to the fire. Nigel Farage has quite rightly lost patience and has called on the government to release full statistics on migrant crime, as he's done in countries like Denmark, while he also maligns the Tories for opening up the country to mass criminality through its open-door immigration policies. An analysis of figures published by the Danish government on the proportional criminal conviction rate of different nationalities between 2010 and 2021 was dominated by migrants from, guess what, Middle East and Africa. You don't say. What a shocker, eh? You only have to look at the news headlines, don't you, every day here, where it seems that, on a daily basis, we are seeing mugshots of non-white immigrants who have committed heinous crimes and who have mostly arrived in the country illegally and have scanned the system by means of converting to Christianity or claiming some orientation or other, or fearing for their lives. Give me strength. What a joke we are. So, without further ado, let's take a look at a couple of polls where I pose questions along the lines of the concerns raised by Nigel Farage. Here was the first one. We have imported a third world driven crime wave. Is the government covering up the crime data specifically relating to both illegal and legal immigrants? And binary choice, yes, at the time of making this video, no, 98.6%. And no, I'm a woke idiot was 1.4%. I mean, people are actually admitting to being a woke idiot. I mean, I wouldn't imagine even a bot would want to admit to that. I then followed that one up with a question on a similar theme. Is Britain fast descending into a third world country? Again, binary choice, and 98.1% at the time making the video have said yes. Wow. And here are some of your replies and your thoughts. Now, Gavin says, yes, you let the third world come in and you become the third world. Now, I've lost count of how many times I've received that particular reply across an array of different polling questions. It's staggering. And OCD says, all these countries are getting rid of their hit, so it's no wonder the UK has turned into a hit hole. Well, I mean, we all know why, don't we? And Biped, it is a third world country as it is as poor as an Eastern European country. Any tax is taken to spend on everything but the working citizens by corrupt institutions and politicians. Very succinct. And I know, again, so many of you feel like that. And a hobbit of ill repute says, and it will get worse. And that's the problem. That's the scary part. We know it's going to get worse because we can't see the mechanisms that are in place to deal with it, not being put forward by any party, and even reform. The immigration policy as it stands right now, it doesn't go far enough for me. A London Sky says, isn't it obvious? Yes, it clearly is. Take it from me, the polls are still running and the comments are piling in, and pretty much consistent along the lines of, we import the third world and we get the third world. Now, for my part, we must demand that the British government give a full accounting of immigration crime statistics. The figures released are clearly cherry-picked so as not to reveal the true extent and sheer seriousness of the problem, and the government is currently refusing to release all data. Blimey, even some EU members are much more open and allow their voters to make up their own minds depending on the facts, even when those facts sometimes make very unpalatable reading. Isn't that what it's all about, supposed to be? No, don't release them because then we'll all see just how incompetent or complicit they're being. While the Home Office collects data on the ethnicity of people arrested, it refuses to publish the data by nationality. The Home Office also refuses to reveal the immigration status of prisoners, really, such as whether they entered the country illegally or if they are asylum seekers. We've got to change this and we've got to make demands. Nigel Farage said on GB News recently, we've opened the doors in Western Europe to mass criminality. Denmark are at least brave enough to publish the figures. Sweden prohibits, by law, the media even discussing the background or ethnicity of perpetrators of horrible, violent or sexual crimes. Well, that's really going to help solve the problem, isn't it? And in this country, everyone stays stum. If you can't get the figures, you don't know the truth. Absolutely, Nigel Farage. And as one of you just said, it's only going to get worse. So there you have it. And if you can like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, I will be very appreciative. And don't forget to tell your friends and followers to come on over and join me in my polls on young Elon's X platform so they can all have their say, because this is what we need to do. I'm the Cockney pollster, and do look out for each other, patriots, because I truly believe that we are witnessing a battle for the very soul of our country. Thank you for joining me today.